Now, the other thing that we wanted to talk about on the show while we have Aiden, college football expert, we want to talk about conference sleepers, all right? Conference champion sleepers, right? From every single conference. Aiden said he had four sleepers. I don't know how many CD he has. I have a couple sleepers, and we'll get some explanations on each. CD, I'll let you start this one off. Do you have any college football conference champion sleepers that maybe people haven't thought about yet? And things will change. Obviously, like our answers are going to change after spring practice
Yeah.
and the spring games and all that.
Mhm.
But CD, do you got anything for us?
Well, I'll start with the Big Ten here because it is my conference up there in the Midwest. A lot's changing, right? You got Oregon, USC, Washington, UCLA heading to the Big Ten. Most notably, they're also changing the divisions and the conference championship format. So that obviously plays a factor into all of this. Obviously the big dogs. I think the two early favorites right now are Ohio State and Oregon. Obviously, lots being made about both their transfer portal classes and Ohio State's returners that forego the NFL draft and are returning for their senior and fifth years there. It's a really exciting time to be at Columbus right now and obviously next year. As for sleepers, though, I'll give you one here. I don't know if it's too early, but Michigan State, man, we'll see what they can do year one. Jonathan Smith, I do like.
Wow.
The problem
Eh,
is you,
That's
you gotta get
interesting.
sleepers. It's gonna have to be bold. I think the Big Ten, more than some other conferences, there is a massive gap between tier one and everybody else, which we've seen that the past couple years. I don't know if you could consider Penn State a sleeper. I do like what they're building to this year. I think this is the year they've kind of circled after a big time recruiting class a couple years ago. I do love what James Franklin has going for them. And then I'll give you one more, and I hate to do it, but Wisconsin. I really like Luke Fickell and staff. They're recruiting very, very well at the high school level and at the transfer portal level. I don't know if Tyler Van Dyke's the answer there for a year, maybe, but other than that, I do like the direction of Wisconsin's heading right now, which just kills me to say. But yeah, those would be my three to watch out for in the Big Ten.
I did
Okay.
not like, I don't know what you think, but I really wasn't a fan of the Jonathan Smith hire. I am an Aiden Childs fan, but I didn't like the Jonathan Smith hire for Michigan State. I don't know. It just felt kind of weird to me.
All right. Well, do you got a sleeper for us, Aiden?
Do you want me to just stick on the Big Ten?
Whatever you want. Yeah, while we're on the Big Ten, give me your Big Ten sleeper.
So I have two. I'll go with the more like, I don't know if you consider this a sleeper. But since Caleb Williams is leaving, I have USC. I just really like what I saw from Miller Moss in the Holiday Bowl. And like I said, I think Zachariah Branch is going to have a monster year. Now, I don't know if their defense will like all of a sudden be top 10 in the country, but with the defensive coordinator switch, it'll be at least like above average or like a bit above serviceable. So the offense doesn't have to put up 50 plus points every week. But I'm going to go USC. And then the second and last only other sleeper I had for the Big Ten. I'm sure there's more, but these are the two main ones I had. This fight's not crazy, but I have Nebraska. Um, Year two under Matt Rule, I think Dylan Raiola. Now I don't know how many consistent like weapons here. I'm not too familiar with like the Nebraska offense,
They're all
but
really
Jeff Sims,
young, but
Yeah.
they were young
yeah,
last year, so they have experience now.
Jeff Sims was a disaster of a transfer to say the least. But like I said, year two under Matt Rule, I think Dylan Raiola is basically the anointed starter there right now. He literally left Georgia because of the starter, and he kind of drove off Kyle McCord because he was going to be the starter. But I think he has a really nice O line. I think Dylan Raiola could use his legs more than we're thinking. But I'm a really big fan of Raiola. I'm a really big fan of Matt Rule, and I have Nebraska and USC. But I think the more bold one is for sure Nebraska.
Okay. I actually think I like that take more than I like CD's Michigan State take.
No,
I'll
that's
agree.
not crazy.
That's
The,
not
the
crazy at
thing is,
all.
the thing is, real quick, I've been around the Big Ten enough to know that Nebraska's always gonna let you down. Okay, I'm just
I'm
kidding.
pretty
We
sure.
love our Nebraska fans. We love our Nebraska fans.
All right. Well, I'll give you guys a sleeper, but let me move to the G5. Let me go to the Sun Belt. Can I point you guys in the direction of a little team called Arkansas State? Yep.
Ooh,
Yep. CD, who is the coach over at Arkansas State?
Our guy Butch Jones.
Our guy Butch friggin' Jones. That
big
dude's got
fan.
Jalen Rayner as a
Oh,
quarterback. You get Corey Rucker back. You're bringing in Malik Hornsby as a wide receiver there, which is gonna be really nice. You pretty much bring everyone back in your offensive line except Jalen Cunningham at guard, but you get that Missouri transfer coming in. It will just be a plug and play.
Switching the wide receiver?
Yep.
Oh, I
Yep,
didn't
yep,
know.
yep. So that'll be really interesting there. And you also, a lot of your defensive starters are staying. You know, you lose Javante Mackey, he's going to Memphis, but Dane Motley looked like he played well in the bowl game. I like him a lot. Their secondary is going to be really, really, really experienced next year. You lose Sammy Johnson, who's their best player there. But gosh, I just think it's going to be a tough conference to win for sure. But you won it in a year where you got Troy with the new head coach, JMU with the new head coach. You got who else got a new South Alabama with a new head coach. Some of the big players in the Sun Belt
Yeah.
have new head coaches in their first year. So could this be the year that Arkansas State shines through? I don't know. I don't know. My other one in the Sun Belt was going to be Texas State because I don't love Jaden Delora, but I like him enough where he's athletic enough where he can get stuff done in the Sun Belt. But
I didn't know he transferred.
yeah, he transferred to Texas State. Their defense, though, they lost literally just everyone. So their offense is going to be explosive because they get Mowdy and they get Joe Hobart back and Jaden Delora, but it's going to be a rough one on their defense.
Because they had TJ Finley last year, right? He's in the portal now?
Yep, TJ Finley. He's in the portal. He might have committed somewhere.
Western Kentucky.
Western Kentucky, that's
it.
Rumor, I think. Big rumor. And then also their star, Ashton Hawkins, their receiver, is committed to Baylor. So he was also in transport. But Joey Hobart might be better. So those are two sleepers for me in the Sun Belt. CD, I'm going to go back to you. Any other conference sleepers that you're looking at?
I mean, it's really hard. I'm looking at the Big 12 right now, and everyone is just on the same tier, which is awesome. And it's going to make for such an exciting Big 12. So I don't even know if you could call anybody a sleeper or if you could, pick if you can guess the Big 12 next year, you can buy a ladder ticket, you can predict my future.
I think I know what you're going to say, and I might agree with you.
I don't know. I'm kind of feeling a Matt Campbell vibe here.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's not crazy.
Rocco Beck. They had a wild offseason last year, and they still salvaged a pretty darn good year. Obviously the bowl season didn't end how they wanted it to, playing against I believe Memphis in that Liberty Bowl. But yeah, I do think with a kind of a power vacuum, kind of happening up at the top there, I think a couple teams are going to rise to the top there. And I would have said Arizona without Judd Fish. I think that changed things a little bit. Oh, we love that coach, love them. I mean, they sound like they're keeping some of their star players, but yeah, I'm gonna go Iowa State and Matt Campbell.
All right, I actually like that a lot. I didn't write that down, but I actually like that a lot. Aiden, you got any other sleepers?
Yeah, I actually have 3 here for the Big 12. Excuse me, I actually have 3 here for the Big 12. I am gonna say Arizona. I know they lost Jed Fish, but they had a really, really breakout year last year. And it sounds like Noah Fafita and Tat McMillan are staying. So I'm a really big fan of that connection. And then for Colorado, like I have Colorado as a sleeper. Like I know the whole like Deion Sanders thing. It didn't pan out very well. I know they have lost Sean Lewis to a head coach job. I can't remember where. But
and Charles Kelly.
Now they have Kyle Shermer. I don't know how that's going to go as OC. But Deion Shador returning for a second year. They add some guys in the trenches on O-line and D-line respectively. They got Omarion Hampton. Xavier Weaver is leaving now. They got LeJohntay Webster. They got – who else do they have? Travis Hunter, obviously, will probably play both sides of the ball again. So their wide receiver core goes pretty deep. Will Shepard. So I'm a really big fan of them for this year. And under second year under Deion. And then Kansas. Jalen Daniels is returning for another year. Devin Neal is returning for another year, running back. I don't know about Highshaw. Is he in the portal or no?
I'm not sure. I haven't given a much look to their roster turnover, but this Luke Grimm, is he still there? Mason Fairchild?
Tight end, yeah. I feel like Fairchild is returning, I heard. So they don't have like the best weapons, but again, Jalen Daniels, if he can avoid injury and use his legs, I feel like they could be sneaky. So those are my Big 12 sleeper teams: Arizona, Colorado, and then most notably Kansas.
All right. Well, since we're talking about the Big 12, let me give you my Big 12 sleeper that I might be sprinkling some cash on when season rolls around. West Virginia.
Oof. Wow.
Ooh.
They
Yeah, they are.
returned
Yeah.
they returned their entire offensive line, which was already one of the best in the country. They get Garrett Green, who day by day, I love that kid even
He's
more
been
at
there
quarterback.
forever, I feel like.
He's
Yeah, yeah.
awesome.
He was at West Virginia when uh what's his name? We just talked about him. Mike Denbrock
Jared Parker.
was or no, sorry, Jared Parker. Sorry. When Jared Parker was at West Virginia, I believe uh he was there. I'm gonna have to confirm that for sure. But I like him a lot. If you're gonna tell me I'm gonna get Garrett Green, Jaheim White, an entire offensive line coming back, and a very, very workable schedule, as all Big 12 schedules are. But let me just pull up their schedule here really quick. But we talked about this, like in the Big 12, like anyone can win on any given day, right?
Yeah.
But schedule dynamic is important. We saw that with Oklahoma State this year, right? They found some manageable games down the stretch where they got these important big games at home, and it worked out for them. So let me pull. Gosh, why I didn't have this ready, so that's my fault as the producer here. But okay, I got it right here. Yeah, sure. You get Penn State at home. We could chalk that up as a loss. Whatever.
Also out of
Yeah.
conference. Doesn't
It's not a
matter.
conference game, but you get. Sorry, Iowa State. I believe you get at home. You get Kansas State at home. You get Kansas at home. You get Baylor at home and UCF at home, right? And then your road games are at Cincinnati, at Arizona with the new head coach, at Oklahoma State, which is a tough barn, and at Texas Tech, who just lost House Shuck. So,
Yeah.
I think it's a very, very
Favorable.
workable schedule right there.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest fan right now. As of January, that's going to change, of course,
Yeah.
by the time season rolls around. But yeah, give me West Virginia. So any other sleepers for you, CD?
I guess the SEC, I don't even want to touch because I think so much is going to happen in the next couple weeks or next couple months that are going to change,
I agree.
everything. Alabama.
I have none in the SEC right now.
It's going to be
I
hard
have
to.
two.
Okay, go for it.
So I have Ole Miss and Tennessee. Like Ole Miss returning for his third year. Ole Miss. Jackson Dart returning for his third year. Ole Miss. I think Lane Kiffin is. I don't know if like people really believe this. Bold take, whatever. I think he's one of the best head coaches in the country. And then obviously their transfer portal. Lane Kiffin has been killing it in the transfer portal. And then their speedy receiver Trey Harris is returning. And then Tennessee, I know they're losing Joe Milton. And then Nico Illinois. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his last name. But I think he's gonna be really good for them. I know they're losing some weapons, but they got a really nice running back room in there, and they have an okay enough defense over there at Tennessee, led by star edge rusher James Pierce. So I got Ole Miss in Tennessee, but I'm gonna go for a more traditional one because I do agree with you guys that SEC will change a lot. So I have one sleeper in the ACC to end off here with my sleepers. I got Syracuse. Like I don't know how much of a hot take that is, and the reason is because of Fran Brown. Fran Brown's been
I
killing it.
love that, by the way. I
Fran
love that.
Brown's
I'm all on the
yeah.
Syracuse train right now.
Fran Brown's been killing it in the transfer portal. He's been killing it in the recruiting game. And my issue with Dino Babers was he didn't know how to recruit. Like he was a really bad recruiter. He never did it well, or like never knew how to do it. I don't know what the reason was, but he was a really bad recruiter for that matter. So with Rondé Gaston returning it, tight end / wide receiver, whatever you want to label him as and call him. And then they don't really have I can't remember that really big receiver from South Alabama or something they got. And then Kyle McCord, I wasn't the biggest fan of him at Ohio State. He was just a game manager, slightly above maybe. But the ACC defenses are typically like historically pretty tough. But I think McCord can handle it. He said it like a month ago when he transferred, committed to Syracuse, that they could push for a 12-team playoff. And this might be a hot take. And for Brown's first year, I'm not guaranteeing and saying they'll make it. But I think they can push some like it's an open field 12 teams now. So I'm really big like Syracuse fan for this year, and the Friend Brown hire was like amazing to me. So I got Syracuse as my last and final sleeper from the ACC.
CD, you got any more sleepers in the books for you?
I'll throw one more in, and I hate to do it to North Carolina State because sometimes they do. I don't know. I do think they're bringing in Noah Rogers, right? Among Kevin Conception and some other guys that are still there. They're bringing in Grayson McCall, quarterback position. They're bringing in. They're returning a good amount of talent there. I
Yeah,
trust our defense to be pretty good. I think they could be a player in the ACC where if Florida State's down, if Miami's inconsistent, and Clemson hasn't still, got back to where they were. I think a lot of teams can win there, and instead I'll go there. And then last one, I just got to give love to our guy over in West Virginia or Virginia Tech, right? Brent Key
Brent Pry.
or Brent Pry. Oh, I'm so sorry. I love both you guys, coaches, both the Brents in the ACC, but I like what they're doing there. They're returning a lot of key guys, a lot of young guys on that team last year. They know their identity, what they want to do offensively, and they really lean into it. So yeah, I think it'd be a fun one. And when that place is rocking, it's a tough place to play in. You get a nice little schedule
sure.
there, couple home wins there, and they could be ACC players. And they were this year in November. They were right there in
They
the
were
ACC.
right in it. Yeah.